Welcome back everyone to Nonstopnoobph. This is your host Asar. For today's featured match, we have the Blue Bounce Terror versus the Selesnya Bogles. The Blue Bounce Terror is handled by Samio Sagisi, while Martin Reyes is on the Boggle side. Okay, so what do we have here? The Selesnya Bogles. It is a staple deck in the Pauper format ever since. Its main strategy is to put creatures that has hexproof and put auras and enchantment to it. While the Blue Bounce Terror is a new deck that we haven't seen before, but it uses a lot of sorceries and instants to fill up the graveyard to eventually cast the terror in the later game. Okay, first to play is Martin Reyes. We are about to see a classic match between a mono blue control deck and a Bogles deck. Okay, please subscribe to our channel so that you'll be updated to the latest post and be notified. First to play, Martin Reyes playing a forest, taps it for 1 mana, casting Commune with Spirits. He is gonna look at the top 4 cards of his library. He can put a land or an enchantment from it, and he chooses to search for a land, an island for Samio, and passes the turn right away. Now the plains came in, tapping the green source for the Glade Cover Scout. Attachment right away by the enchantment Cartouche of Solidarity. When it comes into the battlefield, he will get a human warrior creature token. Okay, so there's the warrior token. Samio on his turn will play another island. He's gonna do some bouncing in here. Oh yes, he did. The Eye of Nowhere. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. But the token, unfortunately, can't return to the owner's hand. It will just go to infinity. Okay, on Martin's turn, is he gonna attack or is he gonna equip or attach an enchant? Welcome back everyone to Nonstopnoobph. This is your host Asar. On to each enchantment in play. The attack will give 1, 2, 3, and 4 damage to Samio Sagisi. Down to 16 for Samio. Another island. He casts a Gazer Drake. This is a card from the OTJ set. It's a new card that will give a discount 1 generic mana when it is not his turn. It is a 3/2 flyer, I guess. The attack again from the Glade Cover, another 4 damage, down to 12 for Samio in the early game. Samio hasn't missed a land drop, but he plays an Augur of Bolas, and he will look at the top 3 cards of his library, and he can put a spell from it to the hand. Now on Martin's turn, is he gonna put another enchantment in play? Another forest comes in. So the hexproof creature can only be removed by sacrificing or probably just target the enchantments on the auras that are attached to it. So the Glade Cover will attack again, most probably this turn. But Samio has 2 open manas in his side. So is he gonna bounce the Ethereal Armor or the Cartouche? The attack from the glade cover and the capsize comes out. Return another permanent target permanent and the mass block from the geyser and the bolas to the glade cover scout instantly kills it with the cartouche to the graveyard. The Boggles is now being attached with the Armadillo Cloak. One of the stronger enchantments in the Boggle side is the Armadillo Cloak, along with the Ancestral Mask and the Rancor. Now, these attachments can give life gain as well. Okay, the Tolarian Terror comes in to put pressure on Martin Reyes. The Geyser attacks for 2. Down to 18 for Martin. Another Forest comes in for him. He taps 3 mana and casts the Ancestral Mask. That's what I'm talking about. And together with the Ethereal Armor, it will become huge. He is counting it. So he has 3 enchantments. So that will be counted. So it will be blocked by the bolas. But it has trample. So Samio will take, I guess, 7 damage from that attack. And Martin will gain 10 life. Down to 5 for Samio. Another land for him. The Boggles is well equipped with the enchantments that are lethal for Samio in this turn. So he has to remove either the gain life or the Ancestral Mask so that the Boggle creature will become smaller. Because the gain life is definitely a huge problem for Samio. Even though if he has the terror on his side, it will just be a chump block for him, but it will deal damage because it has trample because of the cloak. He just passes the turn with 5 open mana, ready for the defense for Samio. Now, Martin, can he end the turn in this turn of his? Can he end the game? Tapping one more, casting Commune with Spirits, looking for another enchantment on the top of his library, and I guess I can see a Rancor. So the Rancor comes out of the library. This will give him another 2 power and an extra trample aside from the cloak. So he will cast that. Immediately the counter spell reacts to it. The attack from the Boggles is lethal, but Samio will cast a quick study to draw 2 cards. He is still looking for answers. He wants to bounce off one of the enchantments that Martin have. Okay, one more. A Brainstorm comes out. He will draw 3 cards and put 2 of them back in the library. What did he get? Does he have an answer? No, he will just chump block the huge Boggles. So he has first strike, so both of those creatures will die instantly. And 2 damage will be dealt because of the trample. He will gain 10 life. Up to 38 for Martin Reyes. This match is almost over. Another Terror comes out and a Spire Golem comes out as well to block the humongous Boggles that has trample. What did Martin Reyes get from the draw? Is he gonna cast another one? Oh, another Rancor comes in. This will be 12 damage now. And another Armadillo Cloak. The attack will be lethal. And Samio knows it. Scoops game 1 right away. That was a very good game for the Bogles side. Okay, the Selesnya Bogles obviously had the upper hand in that match because he had all the very good enchantments that he needed along with the Bogles creature. Even though he has only one creature, Samio cannot do anything about it because it has hexproof. Although the blue bounce there has a lot of interaction to his deck, he cannot target the hexproof creature. Okay, mulligan for the Selesnya Bogles. We haven't seen the Abundant Growth or the Utopia Sprawl yet. Those are the land ramps that are very important to Martin Reyes. And the blue bouncer, I guess, is gonna play around, work around with the counters. Probably brought in a couple of annals and the dispel as well. Probably he also has brought in negate. Okay, a second mulligan for the Bogles. Probably he has a lot of creature, has less land, or the balancing of this deck is very difficult. Okay, please subscribe to our channel. We are uploading a lot of contents this week, so subscribe and hit the like button to get notified. Okay, if the Bogles does not have the correct keep, it will be very difficult for him to interact with the mono blue control deck. Now, if the mono blue does not have enough counters in his hand to interact with all the spells that the Bogles will bring out of the library and the hand. Okay, a mulligan tree for Martin Reyes. What is he looking for? Did he put in the Tamiya safekeeping? He also has the Ram True in his side. Probably he brought that in so that he can remove the Tolarian Terror. But again, the Tolarian has its own ward ability. Is Martin gonna keep the hand? If he does, he's gonna mull to 4 cards in the opening. Okay, he will put 3 cards in the bottom, mulls to 4 cards, but he's on the draw, so it's okay. An island comes in for Samio. Cave of Temptation, another island. So Martin have a color yet, but he has an Ash Barrens, so he will look for a basic land. He used the colorless mana of the Cave of Temptation to look for a forest. Now he has a color. And Samio, as I said earlier, will want to play around with the counter spells. Okay, is the Glade Cover Scout good? Yes, it will come in. It will be allowed. 3 mana for Samio. He passes the turn. He is on the defense while Martin Reyes is vigilant to cast any enchantment because he knows that it will probably be countered by Samio. He just attacks, taking 1 damage from Samio, 19 from him. 4 islands on the side of Samio. Okay, a Careful Cultivation is channeled, discarded to create a Monk token that can produce green mana. Okay, that's a 1/1 monk, human monk token. That is a very good tech for a Martin Reyes. It's addition. Well, because most of the decks right now has a lot of sacrifice. Okay, the abundant growth comes in. Okay, it will be countered right away by the one to cast annul, countering enchantments and artifacts. No can do for Martin Reyes. He has one colorless and one green. Casting the Silhana Ledgewalker, he has two creatures in the field, one damage again from the Glade cover. Now the quick study to refill the hand of Samio on the end turn. Samio has an upper hand right now because he hasn't missed a land drop. And a hard cast for the Tellarian Terror. That's a pressure for him. But he eventually chose to cast that, leaving him with no mana open. So Martin has all the time in the world to cast this enchantment. So he eventually equipped an enchantment to the Ledgewalker. So it will attack for 2 only, because there are no other enchantments in the battlefield yet. So down to 16 for Samio. 5 open mana for him and a Tellarian Terror. That's pressure for Martin Reyes. He has no huge creature to block. Is he gonna take it or gonna block with Glade cover? He just takes the damage, so that's 5 damage for the Bogles player. What will Samio do next? Okay. He just passed the turn with 5 open mana still on the defense with 1 offensive creature on the field. Now Martin Reyes is also on the defense, attacking with all his creature. Now the capsize comes in to bounce the monk to oblivion, taking 3 damage from the Glade cover and the Ledgewalker. Tapping 1 mana to cast another creature, so he has a lot of creatures in his hand, and that's not a good sign for a Bogles player. Samio untaps. His terror is here to attack again on the turn. Is he gonna cast another terror, or is he gonna play some other draw spell to refill his hand? We can't really see what he has in his hand, but the terror will attack definitely. The Bogles blocks it. No damage taken this time, but the Bogles will be sacrificed. 4 mana for another terror. So Samio has an advantage at this point because he has 2 5/5 creatures in the battlefield. But the Ledgewalker is still jabbing. Small jabs, 2 damage for Samio. It needs to attack, and another Boggle comes in to chomp block the huge terrors on Samio's end. Another land drop for Samio. He hasn't missed the land drop, I guess. 2 terrors on his side will attack. And Martin can only block 1, so he takes 5 damage from one of the... No. Samio says it has to return the damage because he will do some other spell before the damage taking. Okay, so it's a ninjutsu from a ninja of the deep hours. So instead of 5 damage, he only took 2 damage. But Samio will draw from it. I don't know if it's a good move, or does he really need the draw? But eventually, he was able to cast the Tellarian Terror again because he has enough mana to do so. Now, what? Another creature comes out, no enchantments. The last card on his hand is being annulled. The abundant growth cannot come in. It is denied by Samio. Okay, taking the 2 damage again from the jabs of the Ledge Walker, the attack, the Alpha Strike from the 2 Terrors and the 1 Ninja, which will he block. Okay, the 2 Glade Covers will be sacrificed, taking 5 damage from the 1 Terror that eventually penetrated. Another Terror comes out, so it has 3 Terrorizers on the battlefield, and Martin Reyes is left with only 1 Ledge Walker on his side. He needs to scoop the game. The pressure is too much for him, and Samio has a lot of creatures, he has a lot of mana. His enchantments has been denied. It's a good match between the Blue Bounce Terror and Selesnya Bogles. Tying the game at 1-1. So what will we see next? Can the Selesnya Bogles play around with the counter spells that the Blue Bounce Terror has? Or can the Blue Bounce Terror continue terrorizing the Selesnya Bogles and denying it from casting all its enchantments in the battlefield? That's a very good question. And the observation that we have here is the battlefield is leveled. Because we know that when the Bogles explode, it will explode exponentially. So Samio should be very vigilant in playing his spells. The Bogles comes out right away, leaving 1 mana for Samio, passing the turn. Okay. Another land drop for Martin. Is he gonna play a spell? The Abundant Growth. It will resolve being attached to the forest. The Rancor should resolve. No, a null spell. He will attack, and that's immediate 3 damage. Turn 2. The Brainstorm comes out. Samio is looking for a counter to deny the spells that Martin has. He has already 2 enchantments in the battlefield. That's not a good sign for Samio. Because when the Ethereal Armor and the Ancestral Mask comes out, this will eventually count all the enchantments in the battlefield that Martin owns. Can Martin attack again? Or is he gonna add an enchantment to the existing Boggle that he has? Or is he just gonna get small damage, consistent damage? Okay, the forest will bring out the use sprawl, but it is denied by the negate. So Samio is tapped out. The attack again, 3 damage from the Boggles with the Rancor. Martin at this point is in a very good position, but a Geyser Drake comes in. This can block the Boggles. But another use sprawl resolves because Samio has no open mana, and the Ancestral Mask comes in with 4 enchantments in the field, so it will count 6. 6 plus 2 plus 1 from the Boggles, that's 9 damage. So down to 5 on turn 4 or turn 3 or 4 for Samio. But this early in the game, the Boggles have exploded right away. So this is gonna be a huge problem unless Samio has some kind of gain life in his side. He probably has a chance, but this is a very huge damage unless he has the spell to bounce out the Ancestral Mask back to the hands of Martin Reyes. During the combat phase of Martin, because if he will bounce it off during this turn, he will eventually just cast it again on his turn and attack with it. So he has 4 mana right now. He's counting the damage. Yes, he's confirming if it's 7 or 9 damage. But yeah, it is 9 damage because the 2 other power came from the Rancor and 1 from the creature. The Ancestral Mask is not counting itself. So that's 9 damage on the battlefield. 9/7 creature. That's that small Bogles right there. It's a towering creature right now with that Ancestral Mask. And the Geyser Drake, although it has flying, the 9 damage can penetrate through the Geyser Drake that has 3 toughness. What will Martin Reyes do? Is he gonna end the match this turn? He cast the Cave of Temptation again. So he has 9 damage on the floor. But Samio probably has some kind of trick on his sleeves because he's confident not to put another creature as blocker to the trample creature that Martin has. So probably Samio has a bounce spell that can bounce the Ancestral Mask and bring smaller damage. Okay, tapping 4 mana for Martin. Why? Why 4? Oh, okay, he will sacrifice the Cave of Temptation. The Cave of Temptation will give +2/+2 counters to a target creature, and that creature will be the Slippery Bogles. So the +2/+2 counter will be placed, permanent counters that is, will be placed to the Bogles. So the Bogles will become an 11/9 creature. But Samio has an answer. No, he just did the Brainstorm. Okay, draws 3 cards. He gets a counter spell out of it and a land and a Consider. I don't know if it is very much valuable right now. But the 11/9 creature is bound to attack Samio in a very fatal fashion. Martin is confident that he will get the game tree. The Bogles flag will eventually be swaying high again. The attack. What will Samio do? Does he have the proper bounce spell to target? Martin is tapped out. He has no interaction if Samio does anything here. He taps 1 mana. Will consider. Throws the counter spell. It has no value right now. So what did he get? He will tap out to play a quick study. I don't know what that's for. But he has no answer and he scoops game 3 and the Bogles will take the win out of the 3 games from the Blue Bounce Terror Control deck. Congratulations to Martin Reyes. That is a well-played game playing around the Control deck. It's a very hard task to do for the Bogles, but eventually ending up with the win. Thank you very much for watching this Paper Pauper online here in Nonstopnoobph, and see you again for some other featured match. This is Asar Opisyal. Keep grinding.